Hello and welcome, viewers. This is the Void Playground. I'm joined again by the mythic at this point, Jumpman. Jumpman, how are you doing?
Oh, good. Marvelous, in fact.
Marvelous. So, yes, today we're going to be talking about the MCU, the state of the MCU, kind of the state of superhero films on the whole. So we got a big podcast up for you guys today. Jumpman, I would say that on a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan are you?
Marvel Cinematic Universe fan, I would probably say like 9 or 10, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen all the films. I own all the movies on Blu-ray or 4K.
Okay. So let me ask you this real quick. You've seen them all in theaters, correct?
I've seen most of them in theaters. I don't think I saw the first Iron Man film in theaters, and I don't think I saw the Incredible Hulk in theaters either.
Okay, so I have seen every single movie from the MCU in theaters except for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah, I have seen that. I actually did see that in theaters, and it was good.
I've seen every single one but Volume 3. And the reason why I've done this is because I had to put a stop. I had to make a hard cutoff. You know what I mean? Most of I think I've seen all the TV shows actually, except for, no, I haven't. I haven't seen Agent Carter.
Well, the ABC studio films, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter,
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those.
like those aren't canon anymore. Or I don't know, the canonicity of those shows are kind of iffy. But I really liked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. though. And also the Netflix shows are also up in the air as well. Like
the
Daredevil,
Netflix shows are really good. For those of you who haven't watched the Netflix shows, they're pretty. Even Iron Fist. A lot of people didn't like Iron Fist. I thought it was pretty good.
Iron Fist was good. I didn't. Yeah, but yeah.
So the MCU, we haven't. I mean, we've seen. Okay, so the other thing that was kind of like this in cinema was like kind of like Universal Monsters, you know, in the 30s. And then we haven't really seen anything quite to this scale really ever in the history of cinema.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing like this where it's just this behemoth. There's 32 films with a $6.7 billion budget, and it's made over $29 billion just in the box office. That's crazy. Now, okay, so let's talk about so the MCU. When we first kind of got the MCU, it was kind of like it was still in the nerd category, right? Like you were still kind of like, oh, you watch these movies, you know. There was a little bit of that going on. I think definitely by 2012, the cat was out of the bag with the Avengers. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes. Yes.
The mainstream, you know. I mean, you could argue, you know, really like, you know, I mean, obviously The Dark Knight, you know, movies like that, you know, even the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy kind of.
Oh yeah.
There's a popularity to it, but we hadn't seen a superhero movie, you know, hit pop culture like the first Avengers movie, which I actually don't like that movie, to be honest. It's cool. It's cool that they're all there, but I'm just not a big fan of the first. I'm not really a big fan of the first two Avengers movies, to be honest.
Well, the second one was kind of meh, but the first one's awesome.
I like
the first one.
For me, the pacing was weird. It's a hot take.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, phase one, we're kind of introduced to the heroes. We're kind of getting into the flavor of things. And I felt like phase two was kind of like, oh, whoa, this worked. We better make more of these movies. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I felt with phase two. I think, like, in hindsight, the best movies from phase two were, I mean, we had some good movies, but Captain America Winter Soldier was really great. Obviously,
Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy was really good, and then Ant-Man was really great.
Yeah, I remember before the first Guardians of the Galaxy film, like so many people were thinking that movie was going to flop. They were taking so many risks with the first Guardians of the Galaxy film because it's such an unknown IP. And they had James Gunn behind that film, which everyone thought was crazy because I think the most notable thing James Gunn had done prior to Guardians of the Galaxy was the live action Scooby Doo films that came out in the early
Yeah,
2000s.
yeah, I remember those. But I mean, he
So,
pulled it off. Guardians of the Galaxy
yeah,
was
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, that was the biggest risk Marvel took that paid off extremely well at the
Yeah,
time.
and then Phase 3 happened. Phase 3, we got Spider-Man gets introduced. Obviously, Doctor Strange gets introduced. And the MCU as a whole, I think even to this day, and you can tell me if you agree with the statement, I think the weakest thing about the MCU as a whole is the villains.
Yeah, although I feel like Marvel has been getting better with its villains.
Sure.
Recent,
sure.
That might be that like Shang-Chi is a good example of as far as current films go. Like the Mandarin character, the father of Shang-Chi. Even though he wasn't the father of Shang-Chi in the comics, like I mean, it worked, and the character, his.
I think they just need to flesh out the villains a little bit more, rather than just like, oh, they're here, and then like you kind of forget them, That's kind of what made Thanos so memorable. He's in, he's in, some of the, obviously the post-credit scenes, and then obviously he's in, like, Endgame is really his movie when you really look at it. And then obviously, then we kind of get not Endgame, but Infinity War is really his movie. And then in Endgame, we kind of get the resolution for that. And then he still kind of lingers, like, because, with Gamora and Nebula, like they're the daughters of Thanos. And there's still kind of like that, So it was a good character. Obviously, Killmonger, right?
Yeah, another good villain in Black Panther.
What I find interesting is both Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan were both the Human Torch, and then they got redeemed kind of in.
Yeah, that movies. Is actually funny. I never thought of it that way, but I actually did enjoy the Fox Fantastic Four films. For what they were, I thought I.
You're talking about the 2007, the one with Jessica Alba, right? And
yeah. Jessica Alba, Chris Evans as Human Torch. Yeah,
I like those movies as well. Those were pretty good. At least the first one was really good.
The first one was really good. The second one was okay, only because they definitely didn't do Galactus justice in that movie.
No, not at all. So going before the MCU, we kind of had obviously the Raimi trilogy. We had Blade, we had the Punisher. Obviously, we had the Lou Ferrigno. We had like the Hulk and things like that. Then, of course, we had the 2003 Hulk. But how do you feel about Marvel before the MCU? I know they were kind of a failing company in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think before the MCU, I didn't really have any interest in Marvel films besides the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, Fantastic Four. I didn't get into X-Men until later, unfortunately.
Oh, dude, X-Men? That was my dude. X-Men that's on another level, dude. Like X-Men.
Yeah, I watched the first two X-Men films recently. Yeah.
The first one's good. The second one is really good. The third one's okay. Yeah. First Class is okay.
I haven't really kept up with those films too much.
Days of Future Past is incredible. Logan is really good. Rise of Apocalypse wasn't that great. So with a lot of the X-Men films, like some of the alternate cuts, like the Wolverine movies, some of the alternate cuts are better. So like the Wolverine, I think there's like a director's cut.
Oh yeah. What do you think of Hugh Jackman being Wolverine in Deadpool 3?
I think that's interesting, but I think it's time to put Daniel Radcliffe in. You know what I mean?
Oh no, please no.
He's the right height. He kind of looks like him.
I don't care. I want to see Daniel Radcliffe in other films, but not Wolverine.
Have you seen the memes online? Like, are the fan art of him as Wolverine?
I'd rather not think
It,
about it.
it's hilarious, dude. It's
Like
amazing.
I like I enjoy Daniel Radcliffe, and Now You See Me Too, and then there's that movie that he did also, was the Lost City with,
Oh yeah, yeah.
was this, I think, something like that. Which were both villain roles of his, I thought were good.
So yeah, the MCU, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're kind of running out of steam in a lot of ways. I feel like we're kind of pumping
Yeah.
out stuff a little bit too quickly because I mean Ant-Man, like, okay, so let's talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Okay, like it didn't perform as well.
Quantumania
Yeah,
specifically.
Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Yeah.
Quantumania. It didn't perform as well. Now, you and I watched that
Yeah.
in theaters. I actually watched it twice, and
Yeah.
upon first viewing, it was okay, and then on second viewing, it wasn't. It was like it just didn't really do it for me upon second viewing.
Yeah. I mean, I was really looking forward to it, mainly to explore the quantum realm, because I loved the idea of the quantum realm and exploring that. Like, I just wanted to know more about it. And
So I feel like we
you
saw
know,
the cracks, some of the cracks in the MCU and phase, really in all the phases, but really, I think the Eternals was like kind of the first,
yeah,
was like the first,
yeah,
like kind of
definitely.
like this probably isn't going to get a sequel. You know what I mean?
I've heard it's still getting a sequel.
Oh, is it really?
I've, I've, but I don't know if they, I don't know if it's started production or anything yet. But yeah, I don't
I,
know.
I mean, superhero movies we've seen just kind of flop after flop. I'm not really like just box office failure, I guess you could say. I won't be
Yeah.
that harsh and say flop, but like
Um,
Black Adam, The Flash, Shazam 2, like those have all kind of just not done well, despite
I, I, yeah, I've completely given up on the DC expanded universe. I'm just waiting for James Gunn to come out with Spider-Man, not Spider-Man, Superman Legacy.
I feel like the Flash was really good. I really liked the Flash. The Batman was really good. Granted, that's not the DCEU. That's more like its
Yeah,
own universe. But
yeah. James Gunn has actually stated that those movies are going to be like called Elseworlds.
oh,
Um,
cool, cool.
yeah, he's as extended canon, not part of his DCU plan. Because I've been reading up quite a bit about James Gunn's DCU plan, or rebooting that franchise, basically.
Yeah,
So
the thing about
I'm
superhero
yeah,
movies is, and this is like what the studios need to realize. It's like we just want good movies, right? Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? We don't care like we just want good movies, right? And I think like I'm watching Secret Invasion right now. Are you watching it?
yes.
The new
I haven't
episode.
seen. I haven't seen today's episode yet, though.
Yeah, today's episode comes out. For those of you who are watching, probably it'll be out, but it is pretty slow, right? Like for me,
Yeah, well, a
it,
lot of the Disney Plus shows kind of feel like that to me. Like they start out
I
slow, and then they get like they get all the good stuff is like in the last two or three episodes of the season.
so with Andor. For those of you who haven't watched Andor, I had such low expectations for Andor. Like my expectations were on the floor because I wasn't really a big fan of kind of what they did with Boba Fett. Not that it was terrible, but I just wasn't like the biggest fan of it.
Yeah,
And then gosh, yeah, it just wasn't, it just didn't really do it for me. But then Andor, the first two episodes were okay. After that, it's like a rocket ship. It just like
yeah,
it's insane. Like I that show is, it's so good if you guys haven't watched Andor. I don't want to spoil it, but it's so good. I don't want to overhype it either, but it's kind of an espionage. Like I kind of like the fact that you kind of get to peel back the curtain of the Empire. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And there's tension because it's like there's just so much tension in the show. So same genre as Secret War, but in my opinion, it's far, far, far better executed. That's just my opinion, though.
yeah, yeah. Well, you see, Secret Invasion
Or Secret
is
Invasion, sorry.
Secret Invasion's a bit of a disappointment for me so far. Well, it was kind of a disappointment to me for the beginning, because like it's supposed to be this huge event in Marvel Comics. Like it really should have been an Avengers film, but instead it's more like a Nick Fury series.
I
Which they
think
could have just called it Nick Fury. I mean, they could have. I wish they would have picked something else
I,
to do a Nick Fury series.
I feel like Secret Invasion. I think the problem with the MCU is how do you top the stakes of Endgame, right? Like, how do you top the stakes of Far From
Yeah,
Home, right? Or
that's
No Way
true
Home,
too.
or Multiverse? Like, they have like these insane, ridiculous stakes, and kind of going back to the Netflix shows, and even some of the earlier Marvel movies, is they were somewhat down to earth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was
Yeah.
like the plots weren't like as insane as they are, and so I feel like with Secret Invasion, like if they were going to do a Nick Fury series, yeah, I agree. Secret Invasion probably wasn't the storyline to do, and maybe
Yeah.
do something a little bit more down to earth, something a little bit more grounded. I think it would have worked a little bit better.
Yeah. It would actually be pretty cool to have seen like a prequel series about Nick Fury, like about the Howling Commandos.
Oh yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah, like that it would have been cool if they adapted that arc, like that where Nick Fury originally started in the comics. Even though in those stories, I think Nick Fury was white in the comics.
He was, yeah, he was.
Yeah. But I
Um,
mean, they could always change it. I mean, they could change it and do whatever. It would have been an interesting prequel series.
yeah, it's just we're kind of all over the place, and the thing is like, okay, I've watched all the shows. I've watched Miss Marvel. I actually liked Miss Marvel, believe it or not. I thought it was a pretty
Yes, I actually enjoyed it more than most, and then most people I think as well.
Uh,
Like,
I thought it
and
was
I
just kind of a fun show.
yes, yeah, it started out a little slow also, but it picked up steam quite a bit by like the last 2 or 3 episodes.
So
Like,
no show has really blown me away. Like none of the Marvel shows have like just straight blown me away. As far as the Disney Plus ones, WandaVision was okay. Falcon the Winter Soldier was a little bit better in my opinion, just a little
yeah.
bit.
I enjoyed the Loki series actually. I enjoyed that more than I thought I would.
I thought it was okay. I'm not. I'm just. I mean, my problem is like with the character. It's like, oh, they just keep bringing him back, and I don't know. I'm not saying that it was bad. I'm just saying that it didn't just like blow me out of the water. Same with Hawkeye. Same with Moon Knight.
I am one thing I am looking forward to after seeing the Loki series though is that I'm hoping in Secret Wars or the Secret Wars we will see Loki and Thor reunite. I really want to see that.
That'd be cool.
And Thor's like, "What the hell? I saw you die." I really want to see that. I just want to see Thor react to Loki, TVA Loki.
So kind of finishing off, yeah, like I actually liked She-Hulk more than a lot of people because like I kind of knew what it was. She-Hulk's one of my favorite superheroes.
Yeah.
Having said that,
She-Hulk was She-Hulk. Actually, I didn't mind She-Hulk until the very end.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing about a lot of these franchises, and it goes with Star Wars and Indiana Jones, like how many times can you catch lightning in a bottle, right? Like how many times can they make, Civil War, right? Like how many times can they make, Infinity War or whatever, right? Like how many times can they make? So like you're gonna have your bad ones, your okay ones, and your really good ones. Like Thor Ragnarok, it took them like 3 Thor movies to finally get the formula, and then they kind of just dropped the ball on Love and Thunder a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Love and Thunder was okay. It's definitely not as good as Ragnarok for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about a really controversial one. How'd you feel about Multiverse of Madness?
I enjoyed it. I was expecting to see more cameos and multiverse travel shenanigans.
I liked it. I like Sam Raimi as a director. I think he's a really creative director.
Yeah. Sam Raimi has actually stated that Doctor Strange is his favorite Marvel superhero.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and Doctor Strange's name is even dropped in I think Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. I think.
In Spider-Man the Spider-Man 2 actually.
Oh, Spider-Man 2. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was. Where J. Jonah Jameson name drops Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Like that's kind of a sign. That was like a hint of like Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange fandom.
Yeah, so let's talk about DC for a little bit on the whole. So now, Jumpman, we're old enough to have grown up with both Michael Keaton, kind of the Tim Burton films, as well as the Nolan films. How do you feel about Batman?
Um, I've never really been into Batman.
Oh,
I'm not
interesting.
a big DC guy. I'm way more Marvel.
You
So
know,
DC may not be not be.
I,
Uh,
I would say, like, gun to my head, like I do like a lot of Marvel characters. Like Spider Man's one of my favorite superheroes. I do like She Hulk. I do also like the Hulk. I like there's a lot of Marvel superheroes that I do like, but as I'm reanalyzing, kind of my views on superhero movies, um I love Batman. I love kind of like the okay, I don't know if the word's grittiness, but I don't know, I kind of like what I don't know. I look at like the animated, like the DC animated universe, right? With
yeah.
Batman the animated
Okay,
series
okay.
and
I have watched the animated Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
like
I did actually watch those.
yeah, those were fantastic shows.
Yeah.
And then characters like you just wouldn't even care about, like the Question and like people like that, Booster Gold, like and Static Shock, like he's an amazing, amazing character. But I think DC, people always say, like, which one's better, Marvel or DC? And I think like that's not really the right question to ask. I think the question is like what I think the problem with DC is when they started to kind of become Marvel-y, if that makes any sense. Like,
Mhm.
a lot of like there's like a lot of people don't like Man of Steel, right? Because of the way Superman is portrayed. He's kind of like it's more edge lordy, I guess you could say. But at least it was different, right? We got the Christopher Reeve Superman, we got the Superman Returns, and then obviously we had this kind of
Yeah.
Smallville, and we had like kind of this idea of what Superman was, and
Yeah,
then they kind of flip it on its head.
I didn't really care for Man of Steel. I actually do. I do actually enjoy Superman. I have watched the classic Superman films. And I've seen Superman Returns, which wasn't really that good.
I thought it was
But
okay. He lifts a
yeah,
boulder or
well, it's
something.
better than Man of Steel. I'll give it that.
See, I really like Man of Steel. I love. When was the last
Yeah,
time you watched Man of Steel?
it's been a little while, but
What are your
if
problems with Man of Steel?
Superman didn't really act like Superman. Superman is supposed to be like this super uplifting, almost like Captain America, I would say. Like he like completely righteous,
Well, okay.
helpful.
So my argument to that would be like, okay, I'll use Batman, right? Like, depending on what era you grew up in, Batman's completely different, right? Like,
Yeah, Batman's quite a bit edgier.
well, no, I
Like,
mean, okay, so like some people grew up with Adam West, kind of the cheesy,
yes, I do enjoy the Adam West Batman
kind
show.
of they grew up with that, and then some people grew up with the Burton movies, right, which are a little bit more darker, but they still have that campiness to them. Obviously, there's the Schumacher movies as well, which are even kind of bring back the Adam West style in a lot of ways, believe it or not. But then you have the super edgy, Dark Knight. So, and I kind of understand what you're saying. The character of Batman kind of remains the same, but Batman. Some people would say Frank Miller ruined Batman. With giving him a gun basically in the comic book series. So I think like I understand what people are saying about Henry Cavill as Superman. But I just to be honest, like what a lot of people hate about that movie, I appreciate about it because I just appreciate the fact that it's just a different take on Superman. Have you seen Superman and Lois? Did you watch that series?
Superman Lois. No, I haven't. I've kind of, I kind of lost interest in the the Arrowverse, I guess
Mm.
that you call it. I don't know because what because the Flash, I actually do enjoy the Flash. Other than Superman, I actually do really like the Flash, and I really enjoyed Grant Gustin as the Flash CW series.
How do you
But
feel about the more like? Oh, sorry, we're gonna say.
but I kind of lost interest in that whole Arrowverse over time.
I thought Superman and Lois was good. I like, once again, the portrayal of Superman. Um, how
I've
do you
heard
feel
it.
about? Oh, we're gonna say.
I've heard the Superman and Lois series was good, but I didn't watch it.
It was
But
interesting. He has like two sons.
yeah, but there's also this new animated series, My Adventures with Superman. With that, I need to check out at some point.
I think DC has a lot of good, like with their animation. Like I think they have a lot of good animated movies and a lot of good animated shows. Um, I've been watching Doom Patrol. Did you watch that show at all?
No.
It is really good. It's more edgy. It premiered on I don't know. I'm watching it on Max right now. I've watched the first three seasons. We're watching the fourth season right now. It's really good. How do you feel about like more edgy shows, or do you feel like it should be
I'm not really into that kind of those kind of
stuff like The Boys?
yeah, like the stuff that's kind of like dark and edgy. I don't
Well,
know. It's not really my thing.
yeah, no, I understand. Like,
I prefer more uplifting stuff, I guess.
one of my favorite superheroes is Spawn. I think speaking of dark and edgy, but yeah, I think the kind of looking. So let me ask you this: do you think like Disney getting Marvel? Do you think that they kind of Disneyfied it a little bit?
A little bit, but I feel like Disney purchasing Marvel, I felt like benefited Marvel Studios,
Sure, sure.
whereas Disney buying Lucasfilm hurt the brand.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, because I feel like because Marvel Studios before the first Avengers film, like they didn't have that much money. They relatively speaking. And I feel like with Disney backing it up with Avengers and the ambitious nature of what Marvel Studios was trying to do, I feel like with Disney's financial backing, they were able to get it going the way it went. At
So,
least,
so
yeah. So I feel like it benefited, at least all the way up through to Infinity War and Endgame.
yeah, and I feel like it's also kind of like allowed Disney to get back their heroes. They obviously with the
Yeah,
Fox, Disney buying Fox, they got back all the X-Men. Sony and Disney were able to come to a kind of an arrangement with
yes,
Spider-Man. I would love for them to come to an arrangement with the Hulk, Universal,
yeah.
and
There's rumors we are getting a World War Hulk film.
that'd be kind of nice.
There have been rumors, like the Thunderbolt series, and as well as Captain America: New World Order will supposedly lead into it.
Oh, interesting, very interesting. I,
Or Brave New
I
World.
think now let me ask you this: would you be upset if after like this next, like after the next Avengers movie, they ended the MCU?
Probably not, but my theory is what they're going to do after Secret Wars, assuming they go with what the comics did, because the end of Secret Wars, it essentially rebooted the universe.
So my question once again becomes: would you be okay though? Would you be upset? Would you be if they just said, "Hey, you know what? These aren't making as much money. We're going to release the ultimate, 4K Blu-ray, $1,000 4K Blu-ray of every single thing that we've released." Or would you be like, or do you think they should try to adapt and maybe make lower budget MCU movies?
What I'm saying is like once Secret Wars comes out, I feel like they'll just. My thinking is that they'll probably reboot the whole MCU,
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
like what's
yeah,
going on right now with the DC expanded universe being rebooted.
yes, no, 100%. I understand what you're saying.
That's what
So
I'm kind of hoping will happen.
I guess my question, I'm going to rephrase the question. Like, what if they don't have the money to continue? Like, for whatever reason, how would you feel about that?
I would be okay. I think by that point I would be okay.
I feel like we've gotten, and I agree, actually, essentially. I feel like when I was a kid, I never, I mean, not that I was a huge Captain America fan, but like, I never thought we'd get like a high budget, well produced Captain America movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let alone like a shared cinematic universe with all these different characters. Um, it's just interesting to me, kind of the evolution of superhero movies, and really, yeah, really like Blade kind of kicked everything off. With kind of these really well produced, kind of movies, and obviously we had stuff before, like you said, with Batman, 1989, and obviously we had things before, but this and then X-Men, obviously, it was hit and miss. Like Daredevil, a lot of people hated the Daredevil movie. But for those of you who do not like that movie, the Ben Affleck one, I encourage you to watch the director's cut. It's really good. It's far superior. But I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know. It's just interesting. I feel like culturally, like me, I'm a little tired. Like honestly, I'm a little MCU burnt out. That's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Well, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I feel like is definitely worth watching because that's basically the swan song for James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like that's kind of I didn't really like I wouldn't even think of it as an MCU film. It's more like goodbye to the cast and the director James Gunn.
I'll probably check it out at some point.
Yeah, because that's how I kind of saw it, and I think for that reason and how well it did setting as a send off, I think was why that movie did so well.
I think here's my problem, Jumpman. Okay, I have seen so many good movies that are not MCU related in these past years, and they don't have the box office numbers. And I understand it's not just the MCU. There's the Fast franchise, obviously, and things like that. But there's so many good movies out there that people aren't even watching that are so good. And so I feel like for me personally, like for example, I'm gonna go see the Oppenheimer movie. I'm gonna go see Barbie. I know there's the Barbenheimer phenomenon that's going on right now, but
yeah, I've heard about that.
Greta Gerwig, she's an amazing director. She directed Lady Bird. She directed Little Women. Just a really great director.
Yeah,
and obviously Christopher Nolan. I mean, how do you? He's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan. I've enjoyed some of his work. Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah.
I mean, there's no question about it that we get a lot of good stuff with the MCU, but there's other stuff like the D&D movie. I am shocked that movie didn't make $1 billion. Like that movie was so good. It was hilarious. Like I thought it was hilarious, and just Chris Pine as the bard. It was just that's like perfect casting. But a lot of people just didn't want to watch it for whatever reason. And the John Wick series, really good. Granted, John Wick did really good, considering its budget, and also considering that it's a rated R movie. But that was really fun. That was really good. Mission Impossible. Okay, let's talk about that real quick. Did you watch the new Mission Impossible movie?
I have not yet.
Okay, okay. So first and foremost, I want to apologize to everyone. Okay, I just for whatever reason have not watched maybe I've watched the first two, but I don't really remember them. But I just hadn't really had time to watch the Mission Impossible movies, and I don't have Paramount Plus, so.
I have Paramount Plus, but that's mainly because Star Trek.
I'll have to hit you up about that later, but I just haven't had time to watch the Mission Impossible movies, and you can't be obsessed with everything. So, but this I watched the new one in theaters, just coming in blind, didn't watch any of the other ones, and it was really good, actually.
Oh, okay. How was it? Yeah. I think the Mission Impossible films are pretty isolated story-wise. Like I think it's structured like at least the more recent films, it's structured in a way where it's pretty isolated from the previous films.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah,
so
like I didn't feel
I
like
think
I
that's why
needed to
you were
watch.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, but this new one, what's it called? Dead Reckoning Part
Yeah,
One.
yeah, yep.
Really good movie. Really good. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch all the other ones now. But
Because all the Mission Impossible films have been pretty good. Like, and the action just gets crazier and crazier, kind of like the Fast and Furious franchise, I would
yeah,
say.
so with Fast and Furious, I would say 5, 6, and 7 is like the peak of the series. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah,
And so it's very rare that a movie gets to 7 films and let alone is good. I think Fast and Furious is a great example. Great send off for Paul Walker, and then obviously with this latest Mission Impossible movie, and Harry Potter 7.
yeah.
Like,
I was about to say that.
actually, in my opinion, the 8th Harry Potter movie is a little bit better, but the 7th one was decent, and it's kind of cool though. It's kind of cool. Like Tom Cruise I was never like the hugest Tom Cruise fan, but Interview with a Vampire, he's great in. Legend, he's this really great Tom Cruise movie. Obviously, Rain Man. There's so many good Tom Cruise movies that now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I need to check out the what was the one that came out in 2017? Okay, I have to look this up now. Sorry for the clicky keyboard.
Anyway,
wait, hold on. Oh,
Tom Cruise
American
as
Made.
Iron Man.
As what?
Tom Cruise is Iron Man. Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah. Like they were gonna cast him.
Yeah. Because he was the original choice to play Iron Man in the first film.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, and fans want to see Tom Cruise play an alternate version of Iron Man for Secret Wars or something like that.
Would be hilarious if that happened. I would.
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah, because he was the first choice for Iron Man before Robert Downey Jr.
So I mean, but like, I guess the point that I'm trying to get at, guys, for those of you who are listening, is there are other movies that exist. There's other TV shows that exist. I think popular doesn't equal bad. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I think that I don't know. I just think that like to keep theaters alive, because obviously COVID hit theaters really bad. Now there's an actor and writer strike going on right now.
Yeah.
The writer strike's been going on for a while, but the actors just joined, and this is the first time since the '60s when both unions are striking at the same time.
That's kind of crazy.
So I mean, my philosophy is let's go to the theaters. Let's I mean, there have been so many good movies that have just tanked. The Last Duel by Ridley Scott tanked. One of the best movies of 2021, in my opinion. I don't know. So I mean, moving forward, I think that superhero movies, like on the whole, I think that I mean, I'm looking forward to the Batman sequel. I'm looking forward to some stuff, but I'm kind of just going through the motions with some of this stuff.
Yeah, I feel like what's going to happen is that the Marvel Cinematic Universe will probably die out after Secret Wars comes out. Like that'll probably be like the end of it all, and the DCU will be the big thing. They'll become the new big thing.
So let me ask you a question though. People compare superhero movies to westerns. I don't know if you like westerns, like were just super popular in the 60s, and and I actually disagree. I actually think that superhero movies are kind of in another category. But I don't know. How do you feel about, like, do you think superhero movies are eventually going to fade out, or do you think we're always going to have 1 or 2, 3 superhero movies come out a year?
I feel like the MCU is going to fade out, and the DCU is going to kick off with Superman Legacy, thanks to James Gunn. Like James Gunn is basically going to be the Kevin Feige of the DCU.
I hope that it's good. That's my only thing. I just hope that it's good. I hope that there's a good story. I want to see like not just like throwaway like, oh, we're making the money or making the movie for money. Obviously you got to make money, but I want to see really good quality. I want to see like if this is going to be a Superman movie, I want it to be the best Superman movie ever. If we're going to see a Batman movie, I want it to be the best Batman movie ever.
Yeah, based on what James Gunn has said about Superman Legacy coming out in 2025, like it sounds really good. Like and they are recasting Superman. It's not going to be with Henry Cavill.
Yes. Yes.
Which I'm actually relieved about. It's going to be it'll be like a Superman, kind of like the original Superman films of Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's because he said it's gonna be focusing on him dealing with like him being Kryptonian but being raised on Earth, kind of mix, balancing those.
So, in no particular order, what are your like top 10 favorite superhero movies?
Oh, that is a really hard one to say.
Okay,
there's so many superhero films. I don't know if I can. I mean, if you're just talking, so we're not just talking only MCU. We're talking
everything, every superhero movie,
everything. Oh,
everything that you've ever seen.
I mean, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
To mind. I mean, this isn't no particular order.
Yes.
But I probably would put at least one of those films in my top 10, either Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2, or both. Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse is also up there for sure for me.
Yeah.
Obviously the first Iron Man film, the first Avengers film, Infinity War, Endgame. The first Fantastic Four film that Fox came out with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans, like I would probably put up there too for me. I think just because of nostalgia. I don't know. That's just me personally.
For me, it's tough, man. Probably, Spider-Man 2 is got to be mentioned. X-Men 2 was really good. The Dark Knight, obviously.
The original Superman film, for sure.
Yes, Superman. I haven't seen the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2, but yeah, definitely that. Probably Endgame and Infinity War. Hot take: Zack Snyder's Justice League is in there.
No, we don't talk about that.
You don't like Justice League?
No,
you just don't like Zack Snyder. What do you hate about Justice League?
They really jumped the gun on it.
Did you watch? It's
just the writing has not been good. The characters don't act like who they're supposed to be.
Did you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League?
I actually did watch that as well on HBO Max. I did watch that. It is better than the original theatrical cut, but I wouldn't say it's still all that good.
I loved it, dude. I thought it was, I thought it was fantastic. But it's okay to we can agree to disagree on that one. Right. Another really good superhero movie was, oh goodness. I think Civil War for me is also up there.
Oh yeah, Civil War is definitely up there for me too, yeah.
Just because like it was just interesting to see like the superheroes like kind of
what I'm hoping James Gunn will do for the DCU is that he will take his time to lead up to a Justice League film, not just jump the gun and go straight to a Justice League film without doing like an Aquaman film or
I see what you said there,
a Flash film. What?
I said I see what you did there, jump the gun.
Actually, that was not intended. That pun was not intended.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. Actually, Days of Future Past is gonna have to be up there for me too. Um, oh goodness, wow. There's so many.
But yeah, it's
Probably
like
Blade 2, actually, now that I'm thinking
like
about it.
as far as like I'm just thinking like top 10 as like really good, very memorable for me.
Yeah,
Like
there
must
is a
see,
lot.
like everyone should must see kind of thing.
Everyone definitely, I would say watch, yeah, definitely the Raimi films for sure.
Yeah, Spider-Man Raimi films for
And
sure.
then I would
Yeah,
say, like, if you like DC wise, I would watch definitely if you like more. See, the problem with the Reeves superhero movies is back then they didn't have the crazy effects that we do today. So if you are gonna watch them, just going with the expectations, knowing that these movies were made like in the 70s and 80s,
yeah,
you know.
yep.
Um,
I was raised on the Superman films. Like I probably saw the that Superman film when I was like 10, probably, or maybe younger.
what's another good? What's like another must watch? As far as like, maybe this isn't a superhero film, but a comic book film. V for Vendetta is really good. Sin
Yeah.
City is one
Oh,
of my favorite.
the Adam West Batman movie.
You gotta watch the Adam West Batman movie.
Yes, with the shark repellent, bat shark repellent.
I really enjoyed the Batman. I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it wasn't quite as good as The Dark Knight, but it's definitely up there. Batman 1989, if you want to watch a really nice classic Batman movie. Batman Returns. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. As far as non-MCU stuff,
Yeah,
wow.
there's so many superhero films out there. like just to think of what's their top 10 is
Hey,
very hard.
you know what a really good one was? Did you watch Mystery Men? Did you ever watch that movie?
No, I have not.
Oh yeah, that one's it's a comedy. It's got Ben Stiller in it. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Like his superpowers, he gets really angry, and there's like a dude that like throws like silverware. It's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, I just remember Ben Stiller from Night in the Museum.
Trying to think of what else. Wow. Yeah, guys, the superhero genre, Cape Crusaders, there's a lot of interesting stuff. Actually, like as far as like I actually really enjoyed the first Spawn movie. John Leguizamo as the Violator was just like one of his best acting roles ever. But I understand the movie, like it's a little cheesy just because of the effects and stuff like that, but that was really good. Yeah, guys, but I don't know, Jumpman. Closing thoughts. What are your kind of closing thoughts here? What is the okay? Actually, before we
hopefully
close,
Marvel can fix their situation before King Dynasty and Secret Wars comes out.
I agree. They have a lot going on with actors,
Yeah.
with the strike, with
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
And I really hope James Gunn can fix the DCU.
Yes. So yeah, they're rebooting the DC universe.
Yeah.
The DC.
Because I've already given up on the DC extended universe. Like I've not like I've stopped kind of basically paying attention to it after. Yeah, I think I saw. Let's see. Yeah, I did see Justice League. I saw Aquaman. Aquaman was actually decent. I saw Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman film was decent.
I agree.
Yeah, Wonder Woman, 1989? That one was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad, yeah.
That was probably the last DCEU film that I bothered to watch up until Shazam 2 that came out earlier this year.
Which
just because I really
loved
the first Shazam film. I really liked the first Shazam film. That was probably the best movie that DCEU ever came out with was Shazam.
So
the first one.
Yeah, and the thing is, guys. Now let's talk about another thing real quick. A lot of this, guys, is opinion, and it's okay. And I just want you guys to know, just for you Gen Zers out there, and even really anybody, it's okay to disagree with someone. It's okay to be like, hey, you know what, I disagree, or like we just want to let you know that that's okay.
Yes, disagree with me. I dare you.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, the reason why I say that is this, right? Like when I give my hot take on Avengers, people just like lose their mind. But like a lot of it was for me. What that didn't work was a lot of the stuff that people loved about it, right?
Yeah.
But the first Avengers movie, I just thought the pacing was a little weird. I think that's kind of because the time frame it takes place in. I think it takes place in a couple days, right?
Yes.
And so it, like everything's happening so quickly, and then there's kind of like the Joss Whedon isms, which a lot of it's being known for, were like just moments, like like Thor sitting there and like the Hulk just punches him,
Yeah.
like stuff like that, which in theaters. Now I watched that movie probably 5 or 6 times in theaters, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of like Deadpool, where like the first time I watched Deadpool was really amazing, but then subsequent after like viewing it again, I'm like the jokes weren't as funny to me.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Deadpool would definitely be in my top 10.
The first Deadpool movie was really good, but do you understand what I'm saying? Like, and I understand like not every movie you're gonna bust up laughing. I mean, there are some comedies that like I can watch them 10 times and I'll still laugh, but
yeah,
I think that it's a super serious moment, someone just died, and then like there's a fart joke, like 2 seconds later. I think that they need to work on that element of the MCU a little bit more.
What do you think of the Marvels coming out? Like,
Brie Larson is one of my favorite actresses. She's amazing in Short Term 12, Room. She's great in Unicorn Store. She directed that one. She's really good in that one. She's in Kong Skull Island. Really great movie if you guys haven't watched that one. She's in a lot of good stuff, but this is just me. Nothing against Brie Larson. I just wasn't the biggest fan of Captain Marvel.
Yeah, no, I don't, and I don't think it's even really her fault. I think it's just the writing is just bad.
I think the writing, I think, and it's one of those situations. So
but I think I'm really looking forward to the Marvels, mainly because of Miss Marvel and the fact that I enjoyed the TV series probably a little more than I expected.
Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. Speaking of other alternate genres, because we just talked about Skull Island. If you guys have not watched Godzilla versus Kong, amazing movie. Like that movie was like. Did you not like that movie?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious, dude. It's amazing.
I'm not really the big fan of monster movies.
They are okay. So let's look at kind of monster movies real quick. They kind of started
a Marvel. We're not doing a Marvel podcast.
No, but listen, John, man, they started off kind of like as a subgenre of horror movies. Does that make any sense?
Okay, sure.
And then, like, slowly, it became a subgenre of action movies. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And so, like the legendary MonsterVerse, it's amazing, dude. Like, I think
MonsterVerse.
I think it is a good franchise. I think that for those of you who want a break from superhero movies, I think it would be good to watch the Godzilla movies. I think they're really great. They're fun.
Gonna do the monster mash.
Yes, and like Godzilla versus Kong, they weren't going to make a sequel, and now like it did so well that they're going to make a sequel. And then so anyways, closing thoughts, guys. We're all over the place. We don't have JD here to moderate us.
Exactly. What's up with that, JD? Hopefully JD will be joining us for our Futurama podcast next week.
We are going to be doing the Futurama podcast. I don't know if you guys are going to see it next week though, but we're going to be doing the Futurama podcast. We're going to be talking about Futurama. It's going to be really, really good.
Yes.
So yeah, guys, at this point we're kind of just rambling, but you guys have a great rest of your day. Thevoid.gg to support us. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you guys next time. Okay.
All right. Yes.